Video, I'd like to discuss Screenprint Signs. The Screenprint Signs product is used for anything from campaign signs, yard signs, road signs, anything that is going to be screen printed. To begin with, if we're in an estimate and looking at the screen print product, the first thing we come to is the quantity being ordered. The next is the sides. Is it single-sided, double-sided, or back-to-back? Back-to-back refers to two single-sided signs that are going to be mounted back to each other to create one double-sided sign. Double-sided sign refers to one piece of substrate being printed on both sides. Next thing is the minimum overrun. This can be set as a default or it can be manually entered at this point. Next thing we come to is the image height and width. 18 by 24s. The text is really just for informational purposes at this point to let production know what it's going to be. Next we come to the press and the screen size. Once we've selected that information, we need to choose between either a flat stock material or a roll stock material. Flat stock is just referring to a rigid substrate. Roll stock is something that generally comes on a roll and will be cut down to sheets. In this situation, we're going to choose a coroplast, and we can either choose 4 mil, 10 mil, etc. At this point, it's going to default a print sheet to the same size as my image due to where it is the screen size. After that, I can go into ink type and choose a particular type of ink and type in a color. The percentage of fill refers to how much of this 18 by 24 is going to be covered with this ink. By default, the first one is set to 100%, second one to 80, and so on. These defaults can be changed in the user constants under the pricing setup. Next we come to a color match if we need to mix paint inks to get that color. We can choose a second color as well, or a second ink type if it's different. Typically be the same. And a percentage of fill for that one. As you noticed, it automatically has checked that I'll need a new screen for the first one and an additional screen for the second. If for some reason you have these in stock or you're going to fit both colors on one screen, you can choose to unselect those to eliminate the charge for the screen charges. Below that, we have a drying method, basically whether it's a UV, dryer, or rack drying. In this case, we'll stick with UV. Now looking at the Info tab, you'll notice that we have a print sheet layout and an image layout. In this case, they're the same because my image is an 18 by 24 and so is my print sheet. So therefore, it's a 1-to-1 combination. If I was doing smaller images on bigger sheets, such as I wanted these to be 4 by 6s, then you'll notice the breakdown's a little bit different. I now have 3 up by 6 fitting 18 per sheet, and so it's only going to require 9 print sheets. Yet my layout on substrate then says it's 2 up by 5, giving me 10 utilizations for a number, means it'll take 1 total sheet of 4 by 8 material, and 9 18 by 24s out of that 4 by 8 to produce 150 or actually 162 4 by 6s. Now the 162 came due to the fact of how they fit. You can't print a half a sheet. So based off of using 9 print sheets with a minimum overrun of 5, it actually goes up to 162. Whereas if I was doing back again to my 18 by 24, since it's 1 up, it basically goes to the exact overrun and then rounds up. Okay, next I want to talk about the cutting. Basically, I'm making these 18 by 24s out of a 4 by 8, so it needs to be cut out. It wants to know whether it needs to be hand cut, routed, or an eye cut, or any other type of cut method you may use. The complexity, basically, these are just square, so it's a simple cut. The other options would be more of an oval or have some shape, or a complex where you have lots of small and sharp curves. The layout is if we required any gaps between these prints, etc., or gutters or margins. The finishing options is for things like trim caps, magnets, Velcro, double-sided tape, things that you might use to install it with, grommets if there are any, easel backs, and drill holes. And the roll finishing is if I was doing a roll stock such as screen printing banners, then I would give it an edge treatment such as webbing. The install methods would be basically the same, grommets, and I can choose to put hems and pockets as well. How are we going to create those pockets, and then if there are any wind slits. But again, this would generally only affect banners when screen printing banners. Add-ons are just the user add-on questions and the notes on work order. Next we come to the print description, which only prints on estimates and invoices, where the notes on work orders only print on work orders. The last options at the bottom, artwork on file and negatives on file, are typically for your production department. That concludes our screen printed signs video. If you have any other questions, please refer to the other videos that we offer or call Sirius's implementation department. Thank you.